Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Atlas's Rock. Today, we are going to have a slightly different episode. You guys really liked my personal collection uh, episode where I showed you my Kenrith the Returned King deck. You know, it's my most expensive deck. Um, and now I kind of want to show you guys a little bit of how I keep my cards safe. So this video is all about how to keep your cards not destroyed, like when you were a kid and you destroyed all your cards because you didn't know better, and you would take them to school and you'd like bend them and crease them, and now they're not worth anything, right? So I am a huge advocate for protection, like card protection. Um, as you see here, I have kind of a organized system going on. I have my 6 decks. This is the one that I showed you previously, and I actually got a comment from someone, and it was a great comment, and they asked, why do you have a $5,000 deck sleeved and put in a cheap plastic box like that? Well, the reason is because the box is just meant to keep the cards together. It's nice and loose. They're not pressed up against each other. People make this mistake of they double sleeve their cards and they put them in a box and they're just like squishing them in there because it doesn't really fit. And it's just like, you know, because there's whenever you buy like a deck box, like this is a deck box I have, for example, right? This deck box fits 100 cards, right? It's a 100 card deck box, but it can't fit double sleeved, right? It can if you like or if they're like old sleeves, you know, and you like figure a way out. But most of the time, like I wouldn't put a double sleeved 100 cards in there, right? I'm not going to do that. So that's why I had that, because I have this case, right? I bought this case here. It's I'll show you the brand. It's a Toiger. I think I spent like 100 something bucks on it. But it just locks. It's like a metal briefcase. And there you go. Like that's a pretty good deck box right there, but it keeps all my stuff together. Open it. Boom. Right? I also have a backpack meant for carrying cards, and I'll do a different video on that one because it's kind of complicated in itself. But so here's some more deck boxes with actual decks in them. This is my Optimus Prime Hero deck. I have a double sleeve I put in there. Now, the sleeves that I am a fan of, right, at least for outer sleeves. Inner sleeves I really don't care about. Like inner sleeves or whatever. But I like Dragon Shield sleeves. I think they are probably the best sleeves on the market for at least Magic the Gathering cards. But you can see that this is double sleeved. It has the double sleeve on the inside. And how I like to sleeve this is when I do the inner sleeve, I like to push the card up into it. So I open side down, right? And then I would put that back into the sleeve so that dust isn't getting in, and it actually has, like, if water was to fall on this card right now, and I was able to like if it went in a little puddle, and I was able to snatch it out quickly, I could probably save the card, right? I could probably save it. But also, if it soaks in there, you're kind of screwed, right? That's the thing people that have a lot of money in cards are worried about. And I don't know if you guys, there's a famous like picture where someone kept like a $10,000 deck in the back of their truck, and it got wet and just essentially ruined. I also keep a lot of my expensive cards in here. I have these thick plastic cases, and so like this Lugia V alternate art from the Silver Tempest set, Japanese. I keep in here. I mean, it's like a $400 card. So anything over like $200 that I don't have in a deck or just laying around, like, I keep in here. Another example would be my Japanese waifu. And some other cards. Actually, I do have some cards, you know, Moltres V, alternate art, RCSV. That's not too expensive a card. I just keep it in there because I have it. I also have these like plastic cases, and this is I can put anything I want in here. I have so many of these, but I keep those for like cards that I'm not gonna put in my binder, and I just kind of want to have on standby and not just in a binder. It works great for like shipping. Like if you're gonna ship something, you can just throw this in a bubble wrapper and send it off. But you know, it's like a $20 card. I don't know what it is now. But yeah, talking about deck boxes, here's an example of like an inner sleeve. You shouldn't be spending a ton of money on inner sleeves. Like that should be relatively cheap, right? It's just plastic, like really cheap plastic. Dragon Shield sleeves usually cost between like $10 and $13, depending on what you're getting. A deck box, kind of like this, which is 100 count, Ultra Pro, you know, under 20 bucks, right? Depending on what you get. A lot of it depends on what you get, right? This is a nice one. You can even get deck boxes from like your local game stores that you go to. So this one I got from the Mana Pool, and it's actually magnetic. I think they printed this. But you can put like dice in here, and you could throw a double sleeve deck into here. Right, it's built for that. But I like it because it's magnetic and it sticks really well together. Really cool. But yeah, if you guys are ever in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, definitely check out the Mana Pool. And then I have another example of a deck box here. It's kind of old. It's a monolith, but essentially it has the bottom where you can keep dice, right? And then you can open it. And it's a very hard plastic, right? Nothing's getting there. And it can hold a double sleeve 100 count deck. No problem. But this is probably my favorite deck box. And if I was gonna like carry around my $6,000 deck in a deck box and just a deck box, it would be this one. Like it is very secure. It's not just gonna open willy-nilly. And if I feel comfortable enough where I could put this in the bottom of a 10-foot pool and it would do a pretty okay job. Like it's still gonna get wet, but I think it would do a pretty okay job. I have faith in it. Moving on, right? We're gonna move on to binders. I am a huge fan of binders. Please ignore the messy room. Also, this is a chance you can see my tattoos. Is he a Pokemon fan? I think he might be, right? I got Gyarados, Magikarp, we got Blastoise, we got Lugia, and then we got Umbreon. But yeah, I do like the Pokemans. Binders are pretty cool. Some of them can be expensive, so these are actually ones, the trading card binder I actually got here in Japan. Why do I like these? They're cheap, but also you can just buy these like sleeves, right? And you can just double side it, and you can buy as many as you want, and it fits a lot. So like this one I have pretty full, but I actually have one that's even more full. You can buy these Ultra Pro binders. They're really nice. Great casing. Open it up. I think I spent $30 on this. Like binders can be pretty expensive, but also look at the cards I keep in here, right? I mean, this page alone is, I think, over 500. Yeah, this page alone is over $500, right? Because of that boy. Oh, and that. Yeah, pretty much everything in here. Nice little Trinisphere. But I like binders because they're really good for organization. And I'm like, okay, so like how I organize it, except for, yeah, so I have artifacts, right? So artifacts, really cool winter orb. And then I move into like black, right? As you can see, I went really hard in Brothers War. Black, and then red, more red. I have a lot of Goldspan Dragons. Lands. Love the Infinity lands. I just don't have a deck for these right now. Lands. And if I also keep these. I don't know why they're not worth anything. I just think they're so funny. When it comes to binders, I've met people that when they have huge collections, they'll usually like get a binder like this is a red binder, and this would be like their red card binder, and it'd just be all red cards. And I was like, okay. I mean that's a way to do it. But I have a lot of my cards in my decks. But yeah, here's like a Force of Will. This is kind of a cool little way you can look at my collection. It's only a little bit though. That's a nice Japanese Gilded Drake. I have an English one as well, but. And then, moving on. So I got that, and I have two more of these. I have my Silver Tempest Master Set and my Lost Origin Master Set. It's not a true Master Set. It's just going to be every single card, but some are English, some are Japanese, some are foil, some are not. Like it's for me. It's not for anybody else. Like I'll show you an example. Yeah, just look at this page. Right. I mean that's Japanese. That's English. That's English. That's English. 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 Japanese. 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 Right. I'm in Japan. It's very hard to find these cards not in Japanese, but also I like Japanese better. Right. And then looking over here, Japanese, 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 English. But I have two sets in here, and, you know, great easy way to keep it. I know what I'm doing. This is my big boy. This is a lot of my Magic cards. And that's pretty, like, it holds together quite well. For a rather cheap binder, it holds together really well. Right, and I just filled this up. I filled this sucker up. But organization-wise, you know, I don't go as hard as some other people. Some people go very hard, and they're just like, all right, let me just make this the most complicated thing in the world. I don't. I'm like, blue, I'm relatively going to put next to blue, you know, or as long as everything on the page is, like, the same kind of concept, I'm cool with it. You know, because I'm like, okay, this page is artifacts. Oh, this page is artifacts. Oh, blue. Oh, blue. Lands. Lands, lands. Oh, here's artifacts again. Artifacts. You know, I'm not super worried about anything when it comes to this. I just know, oh, that's a black page. Oh, black. I can just... It's not super unorganized, but it's not super organized. Do what works best for you in your system, right? I've organized things like very complicated. I've organized things not very well, and it was a pain, right? Because you kind of forget what you have and don't have. And then I've kind of found like a happy medium. That took really years of me figuring out what I wanted to do. I just want to show you these cases here real quick as well. So here's a Japanese Flareon I have. But these are pretty cool too. They're magnetic, I believe. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this phone and also show you this. But yeah, you just pop it off, and then you can just slide them back in. They're kind of cool, like display pieces almost. See the back, but they're cheap. They're like, I think like $1 a piece. You know, not too expensive. But if you think about it, right? Look at all this. The case itself, $100. All these, at least $50. These are like $12 a pop. But when I'm keeping my things stored, I want, you know, oh, it's a $400 card, right? I want something to keep it safe, right? It's an investment. You're collecting. You're protecting your collection, right? I'm not just gonna throw this in a binder. I mean, I might, right? It's still not a bad idea. Like, you don't have to go this hard, but me, like this is what works for me. But yeah. So if you guys have any questions on how to keep your stuff safe, please comment. And if you guys could like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. Thank you for watching Atlas's Rock, and come back later.